With much munai, I welcome you to my channel today. This is Andrea. The last video I talked about us wanting to address the issue of spirituality and well-being. And thinking on the subject, I recalled many times when I have worked with people, the first thing I look to or speak of or introduce to the discussion or the discourse with the individual about what they want to improve in their lives, I look at well-being, because well-being incorporates our being in touch with nature, our being in touch with our nurturing, being in touch with our intuition, being in touch with our education and our domestication, and our beliefs and the values that we have been brought up with. Because if we have been brought up to believe that certain foods are not good for the human body, or certain foods are better for the human body, we have judgments and we have values placed on these things. But if we're talking about spirituality and well-being, nature, and anything that is produced through nature and through our Earth Mother and Father Sun and Grandfather Sky and Grandmother Moon, is a very important essence for us to absorb and work with. So in talking about spirituality and well-being, there's some first lessons we must be able to incorporate in our lives. And I have always tried to ensure that people understand and is connected with the idea that nature and well-being goes hand in hand, because everything depends on what we consume, what we engage with, what we bring into our environments. Everything has energy, and that energy affects our well-being. That energy is also a representation of spirit. And if we have a problem with that concept, then talking about wanting to engage in a dialogue on spirituality and well-being, one has to start from the beginning. And the beginning is, what is the foundation of our lives and what is the foundation of our well-being? And the only thing that we could actually admit to and acknowledge and recognize, that nature plays a part in every aspect of this, and spirit plays another part. And they are both integrated to the extent that we shouldn't be questioning nature and natural or spirit, because the energy that we exist in and the realms we exist in are all informed by that energy and the concept of nature and natural. So today I wanted to talk, just to bring up the subject, that as an individual embarking upon a journey of nature, well-being and spirituality, one must embrace the issue of nature, the issue of nurturing our personal beliefs, our domestication, when I say domestication, I mean our bringing the information that informs our upbringing, and the whole issue of wholeness, because those factors create an environment for us to be open-minded and to use our intuition and to be open to the views of others and the views of those people that we might value or may not pay much attention to, because all those people exist around us. So today I wanted to talk about, it involves integrating these beliefs to one view, that the energy that we exist in is influenced by nature and spirit. Whether we say great spirit and the source that we relate to as our angelic or our guide, our spiritual guide, or our Lord, the Creator, whatever you want to call him or her. I say her, H-I-R, which means it's a neutral gender, because great spirit has no gender. And if we talk about integrating spirituality and well-being, we must be committed to eating well, drinking well, and wholly, not H-O-L-Y, but W-H-O-L-Y, wholly, taking on board the things that Great Spirit and Mother Earth and Grandfather Sky and Father Sun and Grandmother Moon brings to us every day, which is healthy eating habits. And those healthy eating habits requires us to be full of gratitude that the Creator has given us the means to absorb healthy eating. And when I say healthy eating, it hasn't got to be organic. If we can, it is fantastic, but most of us can't access organic easily. But we must make sure we know the sources of the food, and we must make sure that it is not overcooked. We must make sure that it is not oversalted, because we don't need that excessiveness of flavor, because often people think salt is flavor when salt is actually harmful to us. We need to use some of it, but we don't need to overdose on it. And when we don't accept that spirituality, everything we put in our mouth has some spirit. And I often encourage children, my nieces and great nieces, and children I have known and children I have worked with, to embrace the tree, talk to the trees that are around us, because they represent a connection with the earth, our Earth Mother. They make a connection with Father Sky and the Great Spirit, wind, and the sun. And if they understand, and I find children are more receptive to those concepts than some adults. And when we could encourage a child to absorb the connection between nature and spirit, they don't see it as a big issue. They see it as natural. They see it as something that they could actually call upon. And often children will speak of their friend who is sitting next to them, particularly when they're still in the spirit world. And we must always recognize that they are talking of something real. It is not imaginary. Because children under 7, under 5, in lots of our ancient belief systems are still in the spirit world, as I was, until I started to speak at the age of sometime between 5 and 6 years old. I communicated with something, and the only people I communicated with on the earth plane was my great uncle Domingo and my mother, who was descendants of the first peoples of Trinidad and Tobago. They understood the words I came out with, that I called certain things. They understood whatever I was trying to say, and I didn't feel isolated from them, but I was isolated within my extended family because they did not understand some of the stuff I was saying. Because what I have learned since as an adult is that some of the words I might have been using, according to what my family has told me, is indigenous words from the Quechua. I didn't know that. So when we engage with nature, which is part of spirit, and well-being, the whole of us, the way we think, the way we dress, the way we behave, the way we value others, the way we engage with others, we must think wholly, W-H-O-L-Y. We must think that the energy of spirit is between us all, is connected, and accept that our eating habits, the clothes we might wear, which is, for me, it's all natural, because polyester, which is a cheap, easy wear, does not breathe and does not absorb the moisture that our bodies release. It goes back into our bodies. So when we release the toxins, our bodies reabsorb them. So when I think of nature and well-being, or spirituality and well-being, I think of not only things we eat, but how we dress, what we drink, what we wear, and how we engage with others. also how we walk the earth plane. When we walk the earth plane with an understanding that everything around us has an energy to engage with us, and that we should engage positively with the tree, with the bird, with the leaf, then we understand our connection to nature, our connection to the Great Spirit and the spiritual realms around us as we continue to walk the earth plane. So this is an introduction to what I want to focus on in the month of November and December, because as I approach another Earth Day, I think it's important that we learn that by recognizing the interconnection between spirituality and well-being, there's no difference. Because if we think of our well-being and wish to promote our well-being, we accept the energies of nature, the possibilities of nature, and the promise and the gifts that nature offers us on a daily basis. And when we do that, we might be able to engage with others on a level, at a higher plane, and with an understanding that every one of us matters. And we soar. When I talked about soaring and shining, it is not about what we achieve, it's about how we are, and how we engage with our being. And that brings us together when we talk about well-being and spirituality. So today, I want to thank you for listening. If you have any comments to make on what I've said, or want to add to what I have said, or ask me to address certain things in the future, I will. But if you like what I've shared to you today, the introduction to the subject of nature and well-being and spirituality, I will continue to speak on it for the next few weeks. I wish you well, and to speak with you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.